Speaking of our presenter, today we have Wes Arnold, Product Marketing Manager with us, and we're very excited to hear what he has to share. So without further ado, Wes Arnold.
Great. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for the introduction. We're excited to meet with you guys today, talking about U.S. address verification with enhanced matching. I'm really excited about this product because I look at it as potential energy that with enhanced matching, all it's going to take to get a boost in your address validation numbers is just to use U.S. address verification with enhanced matching. So there's a lot of potential here, and I'm excited to present this to you. So let's talk about the agenda for today. Number one, we're just going to go over briefly who is SmartyStreets. We'll talk about enhanced matching. If you're involved with or in tune with our marketing messages that have been going out via email, you'll see that it's called U.S. address verification with enhanced matching. But what does that enhanced matching mean? What does it do? And exactly how is it going to benefit you? So we'll also talk about what exactly is a non-postal address, because enhanced matching includes non-postal addresses. And then what are the benefits for specific use cases? We'll talk about that, and then we'll have a short Q&A. Now, just as a heads up, we're going to try and keep this webinar a little bit shorter in nature. We're not going to add too much frou-frou language or anything like that. We're just going to present some examples and then show you exactly what it does, that are the things that are amazing that it does, and then take your questions. So let's jump right in. Who is SmartyStreets? So we've been a leader in the location data intelligence industry since 2011, and there's a few products that we offer that we thought we'd like to highlight. So we're going to, of course, talk about U.S. address verification today, but we also offer U.S. Autocomplete Pro. I'll mention that a little bit later in the webinar. We also offer U.S. rooftop geocoding, U.S. reverse geocoding, international address validation, and international address autocomplete is coming soon. So keep your eyes out for that one. That one's exciting. Some things that people really like about us. Many of you are very familiar with this, so you might have experienced this already, but we have easy to follow documentation, customer loving, and I put in there, and accessible support, because if you've dealt with our support before, you know just how helpful they are and also how accessible they are. One of the things I asked when I first joined SmartyStreets about 1.5 years ago, I asked Jeffrey actually, what does our queue look like as far as support? And he sat there and thought for a second, and he's like, well, sometimes we have a queue, but it's been like just a handful of times. And so the point was that we don't have a queue usually. It's just you call, you chat, you get helped. Also, we're the home of unlimited lookups. This is a big deal for a lot of people because when you're managing a project or you're a developer and you're trying to figure out what address validation to use, you don't want to have to worry about projecting what lookups you're going to need in the future, how many millions you're going to do, or hundreds of thousands. It's just nice to be able to buy an unlimited plan and be able to say, I don't have to worry about that anymore. I can use as many as I want. And we're paying this one fee, and I don't have to worry about overages or any kind of small or fine print. And we also have amazing uptimes, and we publish them. They're on our website, so you can actually go and look up our uptimes on the website. Okay, let's talk about U.S. address verification with enhanced matching. So it's a new product. We just released it in July, so it's been out for a few weeks. And you've seen in our marketing messages that we're talking about improved match rates of up to 10%. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit later as far as like how that might vary. But you're going to see a boost. You're going to see a lift in how many address validations you're able to process, or how many come back validated. So enhanced matching includes, I mentioned this before, it includes non-postal addresses. It includes 15+ million non-postal addresses. And I mentioned enhanced matching. We talk about that a lot. We're going to talk about that right now. So what is enhanced matching? So enhanced matching is a proprietary engine that deciphers messy addresses and makes them usable. So addresses that have been malformed. So maybe fat-fingered at the point of entry. Somebody's typing in an address and they accidentally they go to hit S for south and they add an S and a D. Poorly merged data, reversed or incorrect street directions, so missing data even. Repeating data, perhaps you've merged two data sets and you've got two columns right next to each other. So you've got two street names or you've got two street numbers. Those enhanced matching is able to resolve those. Incorrect transcriptions, and we've actually got a demo of that today as far as how that plays out. Or data that's out of order or scrambled. So I mentioned some examples. These are key to understanding what enhanced matching does. So here we've got a bad address of 3021 I-35 Unit 110. So you also notice that case is lowercase. It's not very clean. Now for us as humans, I-35, of course, we understand what that means. It's Interstate 35. But when you're matching data, perhaps that means something different to somebody else who entered it in. So maybe they put I-35 without a dash or something like that. It's just hard to match that because it's not standardized. So what enhanced matching does is it deciphers that interstate or I-35 is actually Interstate 35. So it adds the S after 321 or 3021 South. It puts in interstate. And then notice that on the left-hand side, it says Unit 110. It is one word. It's munged. It's all stuck together. Enhanced matching is able to decipher that and say, oh, it's actually a suite. So I'm going to replace that with Suite 110. So it's standardized. Then it also replaces the proper casing and adds zip +4. So here's another example. Repeating data. We mentioned this, that perhaps you've got two columns right next to each other, that all the addresses are mixed together. So in this example, we've got 12510 Overcup Drive, and it repeats. So enhanced matching is able to decipher that, oh, you've got two street numbers and two street names there. I'm just going to remove that repeating data. And of course, it's going to also do the proper case and make it into a usable address that can be matched. Now, here's another one. This one I think is the most fascinating for me because I was impressed that it can actually do this. So we got 19205 Six Penny Monument, Colorado. Now, notice it's missing a zip code. And here's the fascinating thing for me was that enhanced matching was able to decipher that, oh, when they put 6 and penny, it knew that 6 penny, they're referring to the lane 6 Penny Lane. So it properly deciphered 6 penny, added and standardized lane, and then added the proper case, and of course, zip +4. This one was fascinating because just for the fact that there was a numeral and a street name, and it knew to interpret that as 6 Penny Lane. So you can see these examples show if you've got this bad data, missing data, maybe jumbled data, you're going to get a lot more positive matches now that you're using enhanced matching. All right, let's talk about now non-postal addresses. This is also a part of enhanced matching, but I'd like to talk about it separately a little bit. So we do get questions from time to time from people who are asking, what is a non-postal address? What does that mean anyways? So they're addresses that are not in the USPS database, in the short things. So if you're in the industry of validating addresses, you rely heavily on USPS. We all do. But if you're relying only on USPS data, you're missing a big picture because, like I said, we've added 15+ million non-postal addresses to those addresses that can be validated. So, and that's crucial to better business intelligence. You make better business decisions because you're not missing a chunk of this big picture. For example, some communities use exclusively PO boxes like Jackson, Wyoming. And so we're actually going to talk about an example here where I'm going to see if I can do this live and just switch to our demo. And I'm actually going to search this because we found something fascinating when I was doing this example. So this is in 6600 North Snake, if I can type without messing it up, Ranch Road. Oh, it's not the right one, 6600. Now, notice one thing here is US Autocomplete Pro already knows that that is a valid address. So this is not a USPS address, it's a non-postal address, but it's already in there and it's saying, oh, you want this address. So notice it's matched to a non-postal address. And here's an example tied to our geocoding. So of course, this doesn't come with enhanced matching, but it can be coupled with it, right? So this example is really a fascinating example of why it's important as far as being able to validate non-postal addresses and be able to pinpoint where they're at. So notice how close this address is to the Snake River. It's very close to the floodplain. So if you're an insurance underwriter, you're wanting to know exactly how far that property is or that structure is from the floodplain. Now, I'm going to go back to my slides here. So I've got the same picture here, just copied and pasted it. You'll notice it's spot on, right on top of the rooftop of the structure. Now, I ran it through another geocoding tool, albeit free. I'll put that disclaimer out there. But notice that it put the pin in the middle of the parcel. So that's problematic because the actual location is down there by the river. So it's a parcel centroid, and that is misleading data. So if you're an underwriter that's trying to make some kind of a policy for this person, as far as flood insurance, you need to know exactly how close that is. And so having a parcel centroid is a little bit misleading. So being able to, number one, validate non-postal addresses and then being able to geocode those is super helpful. Let's talk about the benefits. So I know that here at SmartyStreets, we took a batch of 2 million unusable addresses and we ran them through enhanced matching. And it came back with 500,000 new matches that were previously unmatchable. So that was a 25% increase. Now, I'm going to put a caveat on that. That was all garbage addresses or messy addresses, right? So, but we've been hearing from customers that have seen a 10% increase. Some have seen less. It depends on exactly how clean your data is to start, right? If you're putting in messy data, you're going to see a higher percentage of a lift. Whereas if you're running your lists all the time and you're pretty clean to start with, you're not going to see as much of a lift. But think about, let's go with conservative numbers. I said here on this slide, we've got a range of 3 to 10% increase in validated addresses. Think about 3% more invoices received. If you're sending out invoices and 3% of them are 3% more are being received and being paid, that's a huge boost, as well as reduced return deliveries. Like if you're having 3%, if you're seeing a 3% drop in return deliveries, that's also huge. 3% increase in retail customers being reached. Also with insurance underwriting, it dramatically reduces the manual exception processing that they have to do. And I know of a story of where even just a 1% lift in validated addresses for insurance underwriting was worth millions to a company. So overall, you're going to see a lift if you start using enhanced matching. What that percentage, of course, varies, but it's pretty much just a plug and play way to get more validated addresses. Between the enhanced matching and the non-postal addresses, you're going to see an uplift. So again, I said that this is going to be a short webinar, and it is, and we've held true to that. So we're at the Q&A section. As far as if you've got questions for us, we've got Jeffrey Duncan here to answer those questions, and I'll turn the time over to Andrew, actually.
Great. Thank you, Wes. There's been a lot of questions coming in through the chat and the Q&A. If you guys wouldn't mind, if you still have questions that weren't answered, please send them into the Q&A and we'll get to as many of those as we can. One person here says, I currently have US Auto Complete Pro license, cloud access. What would I have to do to take advantage of this?
So, Jeffrey, you might correct me if I'm wrong, but so US address verification is a separate license from US Autocomplete Pro. So I would encourage you to sign up for the free trial. Number one, at the end, we're going to offer a free trial. Sign up for that. And then we'll have a sales representative reach out to you and they can give you specifics on what that might mean.
Correct. Wes, to clarify a little bit more, the US Autocomplete Pro API has a different mandate. It is designed solely to return real suggestions. The enhanced matching is not part of that. So in order to take advantage of the enhanced matching, you would need to be using the US Street Address API, different subscription.
Fantastic. Thank you. Another question. We are only interested in mailable addresses. Will this product work to help us achieve that?
Good question. Mailable via U.S. Postal Service or mailable via any common carrier? If you're looking to mail it via U.S. Postal Service, yes, this will still help. As in the examples that Wes was giving, to simplify that a little bit more, if you take your home address and double up the house number, for example, our U.S. street address API by itself will not find that because it will recognize two primary numbers and not realize that they're the same thing. The enhanced matching does do that. So if your house number is 100 on Main Street and you type in 100, 100, 100 Main Street, New York, New York, the enhanced matching will find that. And if it is if it's a postal service address, it'll find that match within the postal service data and still be able to return all the information you're expecting. So it is useful for postal mailing.
Excellent. Does the enhanced matching correct any incorrect PO box labeling in the USPS database?
Yes, it does. Usually the PO box mislabeling comes in the form of P.0 box, P space 0 box, or just P box, different variations of that. The enhanced matching won't change the number or the primary number of the PO box. If you put in P0 box 48, we're going to try to find a match with PO box 48. Yeah, so it does a good job. There's only so many variations of the word PO box.
Excellent. Another question. I saw a map used in the demo of Jackson, Wyoming addresses. Do you offer mapping?
We don't offer any mapping services. We provide a geocode and you can choose which mapping service you'd like to use. In that case, we were using Google Maps. Wes, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, there's a number of different mapping services, Google Maps, OpenStreetMaps, Nominate them. There's a number of different ones.
Excellent. If the address is not verified by USPS, will there be an RDI code based on zip +4?
There will not. Zip +4 only tells us the portion of the street, not the any value about the actual address. So in order for us to have a RDI, which is residential delivery indicator, in our case, it's determined whether the address is residential or commercial. We have to be able to match the input address up to a known U.S. Postal Service address.
Excellent. There's several questions from several different people that I'm going to try to put their questions together into one. For this enhanced matching, what subscription, what license do I need to have to take advantage of this this new enhanced matching? Is what I'm on currently going to come with enhanced matching? So if you can just talk about where that lands.
Yeah, that's a good question. So U.S. address verification with enhanced matching is actually a separate product. So yes, I've seen somebody ask about possibly upgrading. Yeah, it is a separate license from anything that you've got previously. It's a new product. So again, I would say try the free trial and see how it performs. You should see a boost. And once you get excited about it, we'll have a salesperson reach out to you and talk about details.
Excellent. Thank you. Can you talk at all about EU address validation? Does this work there, or do we have plans heading that direction?
Cool, I can take that.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeffrey.
Is for our U.S. addresses. Enhanced matching is a proprietary engine or tool that we created. It does not apply to the international addresses. We do already have full support for addresses in the EU. In fact, all of the rest of the world as well. On our homepage, if you go to the single address demo, one of the options is to choose to do U.S. addresses or international addresses. So if you've got some that you'd like to try out on there, that's a great place to look at them.
Excellent. So to reiterate, enhanced matching is U.S. only?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So that answers some of these other questions as well. And we can validate an entire list of addresses using enhanced matching, right? It's not just for single addresses, it can work for bulk.
Correct.
Excellent.
And it does not slow things down.
Fantastic. Do we need to change any coding of our existing API currently communicating with SmartyStreets to take advantage of the new product for enhanced matching?
Yes, just a little bit. The response that comes back, sorry, let's go to the input first. When you send a request to our system, you would need to send a value of match equals enhanced, whereas the default right now is match equals strict. So if you're not setting that, it automatically goes to strict. Strict means only return the address information if the address is a match to a USPS address. Enhanced says send the response back regardless of whether it's a match and try running it through the enhanced matching engine. So for input, you'll need to specify match equals enhanced. You'll also need to specify your license, and the license that you have needs to include the enhanced matching. So if you're not using the US, what's it called? US
address verification with enhanced matching.
Okay, thank you. If you are
It's a
not
mouthful.
using that one, what's that, Wes?
It's a mouthful.
Yep. So you'll need to specify the license that you're using. The field would be license, and the value would be what Wes just specified. So that's the input. Match equals enhanced, and then specify the license. On output, there are a few additional fields. We return match type, which lets you know whether it was run through the enhanced matching. We also specify whether it was a non-postal match or a postal match or none. If we couldn't find a match at all, we let you know. So a few different values that come back. For the most part, everything is the same. There's no change to the structure that you're already expecting. We just added new fields.
Great, excellent. We're going to take a couple more questions, but Wes, if you wouldn't mind going on to the next slide before we take these questions. If you guys want to try it out, you can do so for free. You can check it out. You can get a free trial. The QR code there in the corner is the same URL that's there at the bottom, smartystreets.com/free trial. So you can check that out there and then try it there. So let me take a couple more questions. We have a couple questions about the source data for the additional 15 million addresses used in enhanced matching. You want to speak to that?
I was just talking to one of my coworkers. We don't reveal our sources on that. It is a proprietary data source that's really good.
Excellent. Is there a cost in accuracy for trying to resolve messier data?
Wow, I'm not quite sure what that means.
We might just ask, get with you on that one as far as when you mean cost, additional like cost monetarily, or as far as speeds, or.
I think he's probably referring to, is there some downside to trying to do that? There could be false positives. We've worked that was the first thing that we tackled with the enhanced matching was to eliminate almost entirely the false positives. Of course, they get through, and we find them and continually work to remove those. The false positive rate is extremely low. When an address is messy, if you send two addresses through, for example, 100 Main Street, New York, New York, and in the same line you send 105 Main Street, New York, New York, that's an ambiguous input. It's not going to return a very good output. If you're looking for 105, it won't match that. Or maybe if you're looking for 100, it won't match that. So there are some costs, garbage in, garbage out.
We are running out of time for questions. A lot of these are user specific. If you are currently a SmartyStreets customer and you have questions about these, please, you're more than welcome to reach out to your account executive to talk about your plans and what changes can be made to take advantage of this enhanced matching or answer some of your questions. You're also more than welcome, as we mentioned earlier, to reach out to support. If something just doesn't seem to be working right, you reach out to support and we can answer your questions there. We have a couple questions about their current licenses changing. We did send out an email about a month ago about changes in licenses. Please reach out to your account executive for that as well. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these are very, very account specific. So please do reach out to your account executive And I think we'll just close off there. Thank you so much for this presentation, Wes. This has been very useful, very informative. We've really enjoyed it. Also, huge thank you to Jeffrey Duncan for your help and answers there and wisdom and getting us accurate information. So, of course, thanks to everybody who attended and participated in this webinar. We can't do it without you guys showing up and chatting with us. And we hope to see you at our next webinar or in other places that we may run into you. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.